Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, October 22nd, 2018. Want to talk about some news by the numbers. Before we talk about recent news headlines, I want to go to my desktop here and I want to show you something that was passed on, a viral image earlier this year of the Golden Gate Bridge with the Grim Reaper floating above it. Reportedly, this image got over 10 million views within 48 hours. And understand, things that go viral in this world, those are things that are pushed typically by the powers that shouldn't be. It's hard to have anything go viral on the internet unless it's approved by the people who truly control the internet. Talk to people who make YouTube videos. Censorship's real, trash content pushed with big numbers behind it. But there's something real interesting about the date that this viral image was released. It was published July 24th. Within 48 hours, it had over 10 million views. It was the Grim Reaper hovering over the Golden Gate Bridge. You can look this up. It's like a 30-second clip, computer graphic. Anyhow, July 24th is the day leaving 160 days left in the year. And Grim Reaper in Gematria sums to 160. In case you're new here, we talk about the language of Gematria, the ancient practice of coding numbers into words. It comes from Hebrew. In Hebrew, there are many ways to decipher the language. In English, there are 4 you really want to know. They are the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. This dark green cipher is the regular alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z. The 26th letter is 26. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. You just make each letter a single-digit number. So, for example, Z, instead of it being word 26, it's the numerology at 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. You make each letter a single-digit number, then you add the word. Grim Reaper sums to 160 when you make the alphabetic order a reverse order. Z is 1, back to A is 26, and the last cipher is the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. And notice Grim Reaper is also 61. That's the 18th prime. I've seen a lot of 61, 18 in the year 2018, like the year this image was viral. I'm going to write out all-seeing eye as well. I want you to see that it has Gematria of 205, also the 61, because this image, it was released on the 205th day of the year. The Golden Gate Bridge, something that is known in the mind's eye of the masses, a very famous symbol. Want to send a thank you to Jules. Jules, somebody who picked up the book and wrote a review, brand new review, just published just moments ago. As we're speaking now, just want to send that thank you out there. I imagine Jules is watching this live stream. But back to this Grim Reaper thing, there's a whole lot more to this. I've been talking about why we want to watch out for the Golden Gate Bridge and other important world sites on the date August 11th, 2019. And that was before I was aware of this Grim Reaper image. But look at how this syncs up. The date that this image was released that went viral to August 11th, 2019, the date that we're watching out for the Golden Gate Bridge. And if you're going, well, why are we watching out for the Golden Gate Bridge on this date? I've covered it a lot in the months past. We'll go over it again. But first, just notice July 24th, 2018 to August 11th, 2019. That's 383 days. It's also 1 year and 18 days, which is a lot like 11/8 for August 11th. This 54 weeks and 5 days also jumps out, but we're going to start right here with a 383. That is the 76th prime number, and San Francisco equals 76. In our base ciphers, symbol equals 76 and 86. The elite rule was symbolism. Again, the Golden Gate Bridge, a very important symbol in the world. From the date construction began on the Golden Gate Bridge to 2019 will be 86 years later. Symbol 86 and 76. And with regards to the 54 and 5, that has to do with the current mayor, London Breed, and the fact that she's turning 45 as the 45th mayor on August 11, 2019, which we'll get to. But one more point. The person who posted this viral image of the Grim Reaper above the bridge, the date he did it, or his name was Justin LeDuc, right here, Justin LeDuc. He's who posted this. Looks like a New World Order agent to me. His name has the same gematria as New World Order. The date the image was posted, a date with 69 numerology to match his name. If you missed my video on the New York Times headline, October 6, 1940, the date the New York Times pledged the New World Order to the Jews, go check that out. We talk a good deal about 69 in that article. But just in case you missed the thing with London Breed and why we're looking at August 11th, 2019 and the Golden Gate Bridge, here's what you need to know. London Breed, which sounds like London Bridge, is the 45th mayor. She's going to turn 45 years old, August 11th, 2019. Golden Gate in Gematria is 45 forwards and backwards. So is Holy Bible. Don't forget Holy and Bible's 4 letters and 5 letters, like 4 and 5 and 45. When you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45, just like how there's 9 letters in Holy Bible. The word bridge is also 45. There's a biblical prophecy about the Jewish Messiah arriving through the Golden Gate at the time of the plan of the Third Temple. And we have a lot of information that suggests Tisha B'Av next year, August 11th, 2019, to remember the destruction of the 2 temples, is a date that will have a major world event in connection to the planned and contrived prophecy we're living out. The Zionist agenda, building the 3rd temple. As I say this right now, there's a shekel for sale, released by the numbers this year, with Donald Trump's face on one side of the shekel and the 3rd temple on the other. And understand, since 2015-16, I've been talking about all of these narratives that are afloat. The 3rd temple, the destruction of Dome of the Rock, Donald Trump is the 45th president, the Trump-Pence ticket, like the trumpets, the warnings from Revelation, et cetera, et cetera. I've been talking about all these things. All of the pieces are falling into place. We saw this stuff years ago coming, the people who've been following this channel. Anyway, August 11th, 2019, a lot of things line up for this date. It's Tisha B'Av to remember the destruction of the 2 temples. It's the Muslim Day of Sacrifice. It's the Muslim pilgrimage of the Hajj, where the Muslim people of the world make their way to Mecca. A lot of things line up for August 11th, 2019. There's also something called the Quran Code, which is centered on the number 19. 19 is the number of chaos. That's why they said there were 19 hijackers on 9/11. It's also why this story was circulating on September 11th, 2018, the 17-year anniversary of 9/11, the beginning of the Muslim New Year, as well as the Jewish New Year. But it's why the story was circulating about the blemish-free red heifer born in Israel that foreshadows the destruction of the Dome of the Rock, the coming 3rd temple, the coming Jewish Messiah. All of these things being foreshadowed in a number of ways. In symbolism that most people don't understand. The average clueless person watch this image is like, whoa, those are cool computer graphics. Not realizing it's the New World Order putting out some symbolism for their next shady event, you see. And understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's definitive that they're going to destroy the Golden Gate Bridge or do anything to it August 11, 2019. But what I'm saying, all of these pieces on the chessboard that are aligned, they're not an accident. They are not an accident at all. Everything that the New World Order does, and this is an order that's been operating for centuries. They established this nation. They came over from Europe. Everything that this order does, they do it by a code with a planned purpose in the future. Notice the date Golden Gate Bridge construction began, January 5th, 1933. 1 + 5 + 19 + 33 is a date with 58 numerology. And remember, that's the big number for the 3rd temple. The Golden Gate and the 3rd temple go together in biblical prophecy. Donald Trump on Jerusalem Day, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election, was at the site of the Western Wall near where they planned to build the 3rd temple. There's a whole lot of information here, but we're just going to skip down to the 58 part. Well, actually, just real quick, from the day that Trump went to the Western Wall, May 22nd, 2017, to August 11, 2019, 811 days later, 8/11, another way to express the date, August 11th, 8/11. 811 is the 141st prime. San Francisco, California is 141. Anyway, May 22nd, the day he visited, is also the reflection of August 11th. May 22nd, the 142nd day of the year, leaving 223 days remaining. August 11th, the 223rd day of the year, leaving 142 days remaining. But this is the big one right here. In light of Donald Trump being the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election, who celebrated the 58th inauguration on a date with 58 numerology, who announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, who hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day, Third Temple 58, Herod's Temple 58, Solomon's Temple 58. These are the first two temples destroyed that are remembered on Tisha B'Av, which will fall on August 11th, 2019. Jerusalem's also 58, so is Freemasonry, so is secret society, so are a whole lot more related things, including biblical, including tetragrammaton. If you have not read my book, I give you a really long list of all the things related to 58 that connect in the English language. It's undeniable what's been done with this code. So anyway, Golden Gate Bridge, Tisha B'Av. Oh, I think I forgot to just mention that August 11th, 2019, 8 plus 11 plus 2019 is a date with 58 numerology. And you know who's going to turn 58 7 days before this day? Barack Hussein Obama. Another symbol, another piece of the mockery from the New World Order, which controls and rigs all of our elections and foreshadows what they will be years in advance. Obama was foreshadowed as the president in 2004 very clearly, probably also through Tupac's song Changes. Donald Trump and his Serta mattress ad, plus a million different TV shows he appeared on. It was foretold that he would become the president-elect on November 9th, 2016. Talking to sheep here in Serta. Anyway, we've covered so many different angles. I'm just trying to give you some new information about the bridge in this one. For Oakland's recent football game in London, this viral Twitter image went out, a reconstruction of the Golden Gate Bridge over the Thames River, which is what the London Bridge is over. And look at this. The date that this happened was October 19th, 2018. This is the date this image went out. That was a date with 67 numerology. 67 is the 19th prime. It was the 19th of the month. 19 is the chaos code. Golden Gate Bridge, London Breed, London Bridge. I noticed that Dome of the Rock, Donald Trump, and Thames River all have Gematria overlap. I noticed that the man who put out this image, Rich McCore, has the same Gematria as London Breed, 5454. Remember, Golden Gate is 4545. But what else came to my attention is the London Bridge construction began March 15th. That's the 74th day of the year, which is ever so fitting because, you know, we got London Breed born in 74, in Gematria, London 74, Masonic 74, English 74, Lucifer 74, Jewish 74, Messiah 74, Jesus 74, Gospel 74, Parable 74. Big number here. Dualistic number used in many different rituals. How fitting that the London Bridge began on March 15th, the 74th day of the year, in light of Masonry doing everything by this code of letters and numbers and what's encoded within the English language and the Gregorian calendar. Don't forget that the Gregorian calendar and English being standardized as a 26-letter alphabet both happened at the same point in history. Just last week, we did a video showing how the FIU bridge collapse and the Italy bridge collapse of August 14th were synced up with the date August 11th, 2019. We already knew that those were connected rituals. You know, that FIU bridge collapse, another mockery of our entire public. A bridge collapse shown 1,000 times on TV. You can see that where the bridge collapses is right where the crane is leaning up against the actual physical structure and applying pressure. And then they're saying, how did this happen? While they're showing you right in front of your face what caused the bridge collapse. The force of the crane pressing right up against it in the exact spot it collapsed. And they just show you the same thing 1,000 times over and don't point out the obvious. You know, it's called mocking your existence. But again, in case you're not aware of this, From March 15th, 2018 to August 11th, 2019 is 515 days. From the date of the Italy bridge collapse near the Vatican, Catholic, which has a lot to do with the site of Third Temple Mount and Dome of the Rock and all that. From this collapse to August 11th is 51 weeks and 5 days. 515 again, 515. Minnesota had that memorable bridge collapse in recent history, 515. Jew in Babylon's 515. And Tisha B'Av is to remember Jewish history, the destruction of the temples, the first of which was destroyed by the Babylonians. The other thing that's really important is the first bridge collapse at FIU was March 15th, 15/3, like 153. And then the collapse on August 14th was 153 days later. And again, all of this stuff is biblical code. Holy Bible 153, Holy Bible also 45, like bridge, like FIU, like Golden Gate. And the second bridge that collapsed 153 days later, that was the Morandi Bridge, 74, like how the FIU bridge collapsed on the 74th day of the year. You know, the sad thing about this world, and understand this isn't a prediction, but this world's just so dumb. Literally, these people are just so dumb that exist in this world and who don't see the obvious, that if in the same day in the news, the London Bridge collapsed, the Golden Gate Bridge collapsed, and 10 other bridges collapsed in the world, the news could come out and say it was a coincidence. And if you questioned it, the average person would say, what are you, some kind of conspiracy theorist? You know what I mean? They can just do anything that's such obvious mockery of all of us and put some just stupid, senseless thought behind it, and the masses will just follow. Like the perfect demolition of the towers on 9/11 and blaming it on a boogeyman in a cave. It's no different. It is no different at all. So let's move on with the news. You know, the news that so many people can't see through. Did you catch this story last night, Sunday night? I almost got on and did a video because I was just so annoyed looking at this story. Want to send thank you to the person who just picked up the book. We got a new order. Appreciate it. More people got to pick up this book. Life-changing knowledge here. But, you know, just look at the picture. You got this guy smirking at you, right? Nice photo here. U.S. general shot in Afghanistan attack. So that's the first thing that catches my attention. Grinning guy. Then I open up the article, and what's in the first paragraph? U.S. Army Brig General Jeffrey Smiley. Oh, really? Smiley, huh? The grinning guy? I'm already believing it. So, anyway, I look at the details of the story. He's shot in Kandahar, more propaganda out of Afghanistan. I see that he works for the NATO, which does everything by the numbers. So I just start to look, right? And I go, okay, Jeffrey Smiley, what stands out about this guy's name? Well, all sorts of things. Let's just start with the 158. You see that right here, this 158? I'm just going to skip through this. Freemasonry has the Gematria of 158. He was shot in Kandahar, 158. Notice Freemasonry is also 58, like Kandahar, like NATO, who he works for. Again, Freemasonry controls the world. Government, media, military, banking. These are all one and the same thing. These are all, you know, if the New World Order is a dice, these are the different sides of the die right here. Think about this nation. The first recognized president, George Washington, the military man, the Freemason. So anyway, Jeffrey Smiley, all sorts of things jump out about his name. You see this 193 right here? Again, big number. That's the 44th prime number. If you write out Secretary of Defense, it's 193. Why does that matter? Because the word military is 44. The word officer is 44. The word soldier is 44. The word infantry is 44. The word trooper is 44. Remember Mad Dog, the Secretary of Defense? Mad Dog was a 44-year veteran of the Marines before becoming Secretary of Defense. 193, the 44th prime. Mad Dog, 44. What about his last name? Mattis, 44. That's why our base ciphers are undeniable when you know them. You know, Mattis, 82, good name for a soldier. See? Also, here's another good one. Notice serial's 44, serial killer, 193. Again, 193, the 44th prime, kill 44. Did you see Michael Myers? See the new Michael Myers movie? Notice the 193 and 59 here. Notice the 67 as well. The movie just released October 19th, 2018, 10 plus 19 plus 20 plus 18, 67 date numerology. But notice the 59 and 193 when I type in serial killer. 59 to 193. And notice killer alone is just 67, like Michael Myers. See that? Halloween, Michael Myers. What's the date for Halloween? 10/31, 1031, a lot like 131. They began filming January 13th for the new Michael Myers movie, 13/1. Again, everything in your media, news, sports, movies, music, it's all done by this code. This is the code of the world elite. They control it all. They do it all this way every single day. You can prove it every single time, too. No exceptions. Nobody's ever been able to say, hey, Zach, can you look at this? And I've never been stumped. You can always figure it out if you put in the time. And often it doesn't take very long at all. But Jeffrey Smiley, you really think he got shot in Kandahar? Who thinks he was really shot? By the way, when this news first broke, it was first reported that he was killed. Then it changed to he was shot. So the story wasn't even adding up. You know, first dead, then just shot. General Smiley with the big grin on his face. By the way, with all this 4-4 military stuff, look at what day NATO was established. These are things we've been talking about since 2014, proving the relevance of the code. 4-4, April 4th. You know, and again, Freemasonry runs it worldwide. This guy's name, Army Big Gen Jeffrey Smiley, the abbreviation, the way they write it, 119, like all-seeing eye, like Star David, like Orthodox. Propaganda meant to confuse you. Like I wrote here, all of this contrived information does the following: leads people astray, confuses people, alarms people, creates hate, mocks our existence, lies, and worse. This media should have no credibility with anyone. You see the big gubernatorial debate down in Florida? Goober is the key word in gubernatorial. All these politicians are a bunch of goobers. But notice that it came down to racism. Remember what was going on not that long ago with this debate here. There were the monkey this up remarks, and we talked about how monkey this up equals 59, like Negro, like slave, like blues. Remember, coded all over Black history, Black politicians, in a million different ways, from the establishment of Motown to so many other things, you know. Andrew Gillum, little Masonic agent, just like the rest of the government. From the date of that story to the election is 69 days. Ron DeSantis, 69. They also just had the debate on a date with 69 numerology. We'll see what happens there in Florida. That's the chosen people's state, as they like to be called. So we got some more Khashoggi propaganda. You know, on October 21st, 2018, the emphasis out of Saudi Arabia became that it was a rogue operation. Rogue has the Gematria 69, like the 69 date numerology. Rogue operation 179, which is the 41st prime, like Saudi Arabia, like Khashoggi, the numbers that's been coded all over the store, or more than any other. I've done a lot of videos now on Khashoggi. Every single day, it's a new detail by the numbers. Today, October 22nd, here's the latest. Man was used as a body double for slaying journalist, Turkish source says. Just think about how stupid this is. Nobody even knows who Jamal Khashoggi is. He works for the Washington Post. Does anybody know that name? Has anybody ever read an article by Jamal Khashoggi? Anybody know him as a household name anywhere? This whole story is just contrived crap. It has been from day one. Again, everything in the news is. Look at this, though. Body double, what they got emphasized. Body double, what's that got? Gematria 105 like Zionism and Masonry, 42 and 48 like Freemason, 165 like Scottish Rite. Notice Scottish Rite in the base cipher is also 57. Guess how old the body double is? Who wants to guess how old he is? Here he is, Madani, the 57-year-old body double, you know. It's just not hard to see. And remember, Khashoggi is 59. The name Jamal Khashoggi is 59. He was 59 years old. The story broke as international news on a date with 59 numerology, just like how Freemasonry is 59 in Hebrew and English. So just every single day, just contrived crap, stuff that doesn't even make sense. Why would they have to create a bodily double of them? Like anybody out in public knows who Jamal Khashoggi is. You know, complete joke. Anytime they emphasize the words, just decode and take a look around. When you learn the very repetitive numbers, you can just see what it is in moments. You know. What else do we got? Oh, Mitch McConnell harassed at a restaurant. So this happened October 19th, 18, a date with 47 numerology. Restaurant equals 47. Protesters 47. Remember, that's the big number in DC. Everything's 47 there. Government 47. Authority 47. Republican 47. Democrat 47. DC 47. President 47. White House 47. Trump 47. The man in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the rigged election. This supposedly happened at the Havana Rumba. You know, that's probably just some little subtle programming there. You know, the right wing's got all this propaganda, all this hatred for the Southerners. Havana Rumba, you hear that name, you're going to start thinking of that right away. Build the wall, you know. But anyway, Havana Rumba, 39 like Masonry, like secrecy, like federal. Like the 39 books in the Old Testament, which Masonry is based in. From Mitch McConnell's birthday to this news was 241 days later, the 53rd prime. Mitch equals 53. He's 76 years old right now, being used for a lot of symbols. Remember the kegger outside of his house during the Kavanaugh confirmation mockery? We showed how kegger synced up with Jesuit and beer and the entire very Jesuit process of nominating Kavanaugh by the numbers. For those of you who don't know, Kavanaugh was confirmed the same day that Anita Hill came out against Clarence Thomas, which I talked about before it even happened. All mockery. Everything done to us every single day is a mockery. Here's Agent Rand Paul. You know, they pulled Rand Paul back out of the closet. They got his emphasized headline, "It takes a lot of damn gall." Takes a lot of damn gall. What's that equal? 74? Oh, like Masonic, like Jewish, like English, like Gematria, like George Washington. Yep, it does. Like They Live, We Sleep equals 74. If you haven't seen the movie They Live, that was a metaphor for what's going on in the world, especially if you learn Gematria, see the truth behind the language. So this has to do with the Saudi Arabia news, right? And look at how far it is from Rand Paul's birthday. 41 weeks and 1 day, he becomes the talking piece on this news. Saudi Arabia, 41. Khashoggi, 41. Not hard to see, is it? Here's another story. A mom's desperate act to reach Mexico from Guatemala. And all you got to do is decode the name and a simple word like mother, and you can already see that the whole story is just more made up crap. Rosalind Guillermo, 83. Mother, 83. Who remembers the news story on August 3rd this year? The mother of the Cleveland Browns coach died. Football, 83. Cleveland Browns, 83. The mother dead. I forget, they might even reported her being 83 years old. But just understand, these are the way the rituals go. Murder by numbers, news by the numbers. Also, Hurricane Willa. We can't even, I mean, it's just, it's through the media, you don't know how much you're being lied to. We keep seeing a lot of these storms overstated. They're supposed to, this happened last year. Last year, there was supposed to be like the worst storm ever to hit Mexico, and it wasn't that bad. They're saying Category 5 will probably be a Category 4 when it makes landfall tomorrow. Here's what's really intriguing about this storm. Willa equals 78, like October, and this storm formed October 14th, which is the day leaving 78 days left in the year. October 14th, here it is, the day leaving 78 days, the day that Willa formed. And we see this again and again. Also, this storm's expected to make landfall tomorrow and then bring a lot of rain in the days after. Tomorrow's the 23rd. The day after, which is supposed to be raining there, is a date with 52 numerology. And as we know, flood equals 52, earth 52, hurricane 52, weather warfare admitted since 1952 and not by accident. So keep your eyes on Willa, see what comes of it. A lot of poor people in Mexico. They love to target poor people with these storms. Here was another story that was some racial shaming. You know, they're showing this all black party. The story is that the floor was showing that it was sagging and sinking and about to collapse, but nobody stopped. They just kept dancing anyway until they fell through the floor. I can't help but think about how Clemson is down there near Charlotte, where all the banks are headquartered. And in light of all the predictive programming of the collapse that's coming. But here's some definite black shaming. Notice they said about 30 people were injured falling through the floor. Understand that's just some made up bullshit by the numbers. Floor equals 30 like police. Let me show you some other words that equal 30 as well as 102 in light of this being at homecoming. So homecoming has this gematria of 102. Also has gematria of 42, another number stamped all over the black race. Look at the N word. 30, 102, 42. You see it? How about slavery? 30, 102. The Civil War began on April 12th, the 102nd day of the year. Another 42 over there. Has a lot to do with homecoming. You see? The numbers they do at least. So media loves to make black people look bad and stupid. Here's a bunch of dumb black people that didn't know to stop dancing on the floor that was falling apart. It's just when you realize what they're doing, you see it. And again, Clemson down there in the Carolinas, Charlotte, the second richest city in the nation because all the banks are headquartered there. That's my interpretation of this story, especially it coming in October, the month in history where we've seen so many economic collapses. October 29th will be the 89-year anniversary of the Black Tuesday. And don't forget, 89 is a chaos number. People who control the world, they go by the chaos code. Order out of chaos, or in Latin, ordo ab chao, which is 46. You see that right there, that 46? Just like chaos is 46. Latin for order out of chaos. Also, I was just looking at, to come back to the August 11th thing where we started, I was looking for interesting dates, August 11th in history. 1940, that was the date Jews were expelled. When the Jews remember Tisha B'Av, they consider all the days that they've been expelled from countries in addition to the destruction of the temples. They just remember all the bad things that have happened to them. So interesting that happened to them on August 11th in history, 1914. That'll be 105 years. 105 years before August 11th, 2019. Zionism, 105. Masonry, 105. Bible, 105. All this stuff. Biblical prophecy. The other thing that stood out to me about that date was this part about the Statue of Liberty. That was the date that they reached their goal of $100,000 raised to build the pedestal. And in light of this story circulating around the anniversary of September 11th about the coming destruction of the third temple, the two towers, the two temples, Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of the two temples equals 911 in Jewish gematria. I just remember on September 11th, there were a lot of theories that the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania was either going to hit the Statue of Liberty or the White House. So just think it's interesting that it happened on that day. If you guys want to learn more about all this stuff, again, I wrote a book. You know, it took me 5 years to write. Probably blow your mind more than anything else you ever read in this world. But if you doubt it, come read the reviews. A lot of very happy people here. A lot of people who wrote that they just found my work and bought the book and love the book. So it seems that based on the reviews, the people who are writing the reviews the most are the people who've just found my work. It makes me think about, what about all you guys who have been doing all this for free for 5 years? You guys are just all too spoiled. You think you know it all. You don't know what you're missing out on in this book right here. This book's way better than any video I ever put together. But it's linked in the description of every video if you want to pick it up. But before I go here, come out and check the chat, see if there's any news stories I need to be covering. Reading the chat here, seeing if anybody's got any news stories I need to look at. Thanks, Karina. Appreciate the compliment for the book. Yeah, there was the eclipse on August 11th. We talked about that recently. That was also the day that Fort Knox was audited for the first time in 40 years. And in alchemy, the sun represents gold. Going to Fort Knox for the first time in 40 years on the day that the sun's blacked out. You can't see the sun like you can't see the gold. That was mockery. Oh. Hold on. I'm going to leave the chat for a moment. I forgot to mention something. From the Statue of Liberty date, 1885, August 11th, to 2019 is 134 days later. Remember, Tisha B'Av equals 134. And what Tisha B'Av means is the 9th of Av, 134 as well. We've seen all this stuff with Trump and 134. He was in Jerusalem Day for 134. He goes around with that mega hat, which means make America great again. 134. We talked about how Jared Kushner's 38th birthday is perfectly synced up for the destruction of the Dome of the Rock on August 11th, 2019. Is it his full name? It is. Jared Kushner's 134. His wife's name, Melania's 134. House of Cards, the hit show when he was running for president, is the Trump card, 134. So very interesting from the Statue of Liberty memorable date that got the funds underway to get the thing built to this date for destruction is 134 years later. All right, let me see. 70-year-old Susan Trott. So, okay, she was 70 years old. So that jumps out to me in a big way because today has 70 date numerology, 10 plus 22 plus 20 plus 18. And today is the day leaving 70 days left in the year. So I want to look this up about Susan Trott at 70 because I was talking about how 70 today is. Throat slash, born July 4th, 81 years old, the ritual number. In case you're new here, the reason I call 81 the ritual number is because alphabetic order forwards and backwards is 81. How come it, or wait a minute, hold on. It says she's 70 here. Who's this? A different Susan Trott? Okay, hold on. Let's look at this story. But today, October 22nd, to show you this, October 22nd leaves 70 days left in the year. N plus 22 is 32, plus 18 more is 50, plus 20 more is 70, the date numerology. So double 70 today. And then here's the New York Times, which is always numerological. Thanks for leaving feedback, John. We just got 2 reviews. I'm getting more reviews lately than book sales, which I don't mind. It's nice to get the reviews. But here it is. A 70-year-old woman was found dead with a slashed throat in her apartment on the Upper West Side of Manhattan early Sunday. So she actually died yesterday, the day leaving 71 days left in the year. But the news comes, or it looks like, okay, so this actually was reported yesterday. This news actually broke yesterday. Her name is Susan Trott. Apparently there's another Susan Trott. Check the Gematria Susan Trott. I know Susan's 74. That other woman had the July 4th birthday that we saw. Killing 74 or as well. That's why the Ides of March, to remember the killing of Caesars on the 74th day of the year. When you start to realize who runs the world and who controls the language and who put us on this calendar, who would pay tribute to the murdering of Caesar by the numbers on the 74th day of the year? And don't forget that Caesar is 47. The Ides of March, March 15th, the 74th day of the year. Isn't it very clear that all of this traces back to one people, a people who were also booted from Rome? Isn't it not so hard to see? Masonry is based in Judaism, Masonic and Jewish, both 74, like English, like Gematria. But hold on, this woman's full name, Susan Trott, 167. That's the 39th prime. Remember, everything in New York's 39. New York's 39, Empire's 39, NY's 39, NYC's 39, the date of establishment 39, and a million more things. The United Nations there is 39 floors tall. Look at what else stands out about her name, though. 67. 67, the blood sacrifice number. Yesterday, 10/21/18. Let's think about the date numerology. Yesterday had the life lesson number of 42. Susan Trott, also 103, the 27th prime, big ritual number there, 27. Seen a lot of people in the 27 club die 103 days from their birthday. She was found in her 14th floor, dead 14 and 14. So there is a different Susan Trott. It might be interesting to look into this woman. Looks like she's still alive though. I don't know. To look more at it. I covered the migrant caravan. It was chaos at the border. That was October 19th. Chaos 19. Mexico has the Gematria of 19. So does caravan. Good news for October 19th. I've done some stuff on Beto O'Rourke. All these elections are by the numbers. I did the video on the Gwinnett police killing the suspect cop. I covered that the other day. We can do that one again. That was a recent story. I covered that in the last news broadcast I did Saturday night. But here that one was. His name was Anton Tony. Gematria 44, like shooting, like gunfire, like Georgia, where he was killed. What else? Like officer. Officer's also 44, of course. The date numerology this happened, October 20th, 2018, a date with 41 numerology. Gwinnett 41, where it happened. October 20th, date with 30 numerology. Police has Gematria of 33 and 30. All in the dark blue cipher. All of these sum to 33. October, police, masonry, secrecy, order, federal. That Gwinnett County GA has the Gematria 74 like killing, 79 like murder, 218 like death. The story didn't make any sense. The story was just so stupid. We'll read the story again in a second. His name has Gematria 55, 73, numbers of sacrifice. For October 20th, they said there was a heavy police presence in the Stone Mountain area. So on the day leaving 72 days left in the year, you get this thing at Stone Mountain 72. October 20th, the 293rd day of the year, the 62nd prime sacrifice, also 62. But just this paragraph about what happened. After the shooting, the suspect's four-door black sedan sped away and crashed about a mile away. There were as many as 4 people inside the car, Smith said. There are no suspects in custody. Chief of Police Butch Ayers said investigators were talking to multiple persons of interest. Ayers didn't say when authorities classified them that way. He added that no warrants had been issued in the case. Smith said the shooting happened so quickly the officers did not have time to draw their guns. Other officers who had responded as backups fired on the car's occupants, but it was unclear whether any were hit or how many shots were fired. Detectives were still processing evidence from the car. So, I mean, just think about it. In this age of police everywhere, cameras everywhere, guys roll up and shoot a police officer, speed off, crash a mile away, and then there's 4 people in the car and they all get away. I mean, that doesn't sound even remotely possible at this day and age. That story makes 0 sense. You know, just more news by the numbers. I'm sure in the days ahead, they'll make some arrests. They'll probably put some black guys' faces on the screen. More race war shaming. Be par for the course. So, see what else we got going here in the chat. Oh, so you were actually letting me know that there's now an update that the police killed the suspect of the murder. Okay, got it. Here, we can even look at the follow-up story. So now it's just one person. It's not a car full of four people. Now it's just a single man, huh? With a, it looks like, was it supposed to be this black dude with the hidden blurry image? Is that who did it? Oh my God. His name was Tafari. How do you say that name? Tafari. I can't say it. Tafari Maynard. Tafari Maynard. Maybe that's how you say it. All right, let's just check the gematria on this guy. Of course, he's a black guy. You can make out that much, right? Blurry image, so you can't really tell who it is. Generic propaganda. Name has gematria 68. Remember, the date of the shooting had 68 numerology. 10/20/2018. So we get a guy with 68 name gematria on a shooting from a date with 68 numerology. Remember, that's a big CIA number. CIA is all about the mind control. Here, let's just break his name into parts. Let's see. Maynard. So we got a 113 in there. Okay. So I see a lot of things in there. So we got the 44, right? 44 was the big number on the shooting. 44 and 37. This is the shooter. Shooting has the gematria of 37 and 44, just like Georgia does. 44, 37. Georgia's also 62. It was on the 293rd day of the year, the 62nd prime, Georgia news. But yeah, you can just break down his name and just see what's up right away. Gematria of 64 and 44. He's the killer. And then he gets killed. Kill 44, 64. Come back and look at this officer's name real quick. His name equals 152, the man killed. And then look at how Tafari has the 152 in it as well. You know, overlapping numbers here. Par for the course, news by the numbers. Great thought, Miss Mildred. Glad you brought that story to my attention. I'll have to do a blog post on that. From 4 guys to 1 guy with all the perfect numbers. All right, I appreciate you follow the work. Hopefully you get the $5 soon enough. Again, if you guys can only afford $5 for the book, just send me an email. I'll do the book for $5 through email. You get the same book, but $10 is still quite a bargain for a 773-page book. Life-changing knowledge. Under God. You look like a troll, buddy. The abolishment of the 30-year-old nuclear treaty by Trump. Well, 30 is a number that has to do with time. It has to do with Saturn. Saturn's the keeper of time, having to do with death and judgment. And that just makes me think of nuclear weapons. I got to look into that. I didn't know about this. Trump abolishment, 30-year nuclear. Let's see if that brings it up. I didn't hear about this story. So here it was. Donald Trump confirms U.S. will pull out of nuclear arms pact with Russia. Well, you know, just another headline that contributes to the international tension and all of the things building right now. Something that might be coming in the near future is my buddy from Seattle, who I've known for a long time. He's from this town that I've now moved to, and he actually moved back here a year ago. And he's been taking me on hikes in the area, and he's got a lot of theories too. He's over 10 years older than me, but he's not as awake as I am. But the thing that really bothers him more than anything is the chemical spraying of the skies. And he's seen the Prince clip from Tavis Smiley from years ago, where Prince said they're spraying the skies to mess with our behavior. And I think there's a lot of merit to that. And he thinks that what's going on right now is they're just trying to slowly instill and build up the hatred in the world. He thinks what they got planned for us for the years ahead are just many, many years of war. civil wars, international wars, and they're just trying to build up this culture of hatred and violence and aggressiveness and intolerance and divisiveness. And I think he's right on. I mean, I've kind of been saying that myself, but going on these hikes and listening to him, speak about it, I'm saying, yeah, you're making a lot of sense, man. It's they're definitely taking us in this direction, and these people do work with plans that are many years in the making. And right now, we're already involved in the longest war in the history of the U.S. that just continues to drag on, and does seem like it's building to something bigger. So, oh, Willa's hurricane path is headed towards the migrant caravan and expected to flood Texas. Well, we'll see if it floods on the 52 day. Probably be up in Texas on the 52 day. Yeah, I covered the Lakers versus Houston brawl. Thanks for buying the book, Jody. Marion says she had trouble trying to leave a review. I've heard a lot of people say that. Here, I'll while I read the comments, I'll let you guys see what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Charlotte says she's trying to find the table of Gematria. Well, the thing is, Charlotte, is Gematria is a numerical language, and it's about numbers in words that have relationships with other words. So the best way to do it is to build your own tables doing research, words that are related, numbers that are related. And I do that throughout the book. I am going to write a future book, at least 1 through 100. So you'll open up a page. Page 1. What are words and numbers associated with 1? What are words and numbers associated with 2, etc.? And the book might just be 100 pages long. But I'll explain in that book that this isn't the complete set of words that are related to this number, but this gives you an idea of how this works and what the symbolism is and what the meaning of the numbers is. So, like Charlotte, if you have the book and you go to page 38, I start to do those groupings of 58. And then when you read the chapter on numbers as language, you can learn why 5 and 8 and 58, how it's all related and what the meaning of it is and why those things are coded into those numbers. Jim bought the book twice. Thanks, Jim. Much appreciated. Wish a lot of people would just buy it one time. Just reading over the comments now. So, like this guy in the comment right here, he says, "I'm not a troll. Just really thought Lakers would beat the Blazers because you said they would." Did I say they would beat them? I said I said I didn't even do a full decode. I said 119 was a huge number on the game. How many points did the Cavs lose with in that game? Pretty sure they lost with 119 points. So you're not going to buy the work because the game outcome didn't come out the way you misinterpreted it. You know, I said in that video, I was just doing that real quick before the game to show you how to decode a game. I said more things you'd want to look at. I said what the narrative potentially was for the Blazers. I said they could pick up their 106th win. I said that was a big number in the year LeBron won the championship for Cleveland. So you got to listen carefully. Sounds like you really should buy the book. You know, I can tell that in terms of like the IQ test, where people stand in IQ, yours isn't very high. And reading things that are intelligent can actually help raise your IQ. So if you're not a troll, you might as well be, you know. An intelligent person would go, wow, he said the game was all about 119 and then the Cavs lost with 119 points. Like, that's an intelligent response. So Sadly, most people aren't very intelligent. Most people in this society are very low on the IQ scale. And it's because of what they eat. It's because they don't read. It's because they just watch. It's because they let other people do their thinking for them. It's because the skies are full of chemicals and poison. You know, honestly, I probably do better than the average person in this chemically subdued world because of my diet. If you eat a plant-based diet, it filters the chemicals and toxins in your body a lot better. If you eat like rich animal proteins, that stuff cakes in your body and holds the chemicals in there with it. You want to eat foods that clean out your body. Like a lot of you understand cars. You understand why you want to put in high performance oil and things that make your car last. They make the parts work better. It's the exact same thing with food. I don't know why so many people don't get that. People spend all this money keeping their car up, but then they'll eat junk food and think that it's not the same with their body. And then everyone's dying of disease and illness that's all preventable. So, all right. I'm just going to block you because you're now a troll. So, no, I didn't say everything pointed to the Lakers. Never said that. Clearly pointed out narrative possible for the Blazers. And the Lakers getting stuck on 136 wins against the Blazers, or was it against Houston that they got stuck on 130? It was Houston that got stuck on 136 wins. That's the 16th triangular number, like how they have 16 championships. Just like I've been saying, LeBron isn't winning a championship this year. Before the season even began, I already told you what the NBA Finals are going to be, and I'm not going to be wrong about the NBA Finals this year. The riddle's too clear, you know. I did a post on Ray Caruth. We've covered Ray Caruth already. You guys should watch my videos. Then you wouldn't ask me to do things I covered. You should read my blog. Then you wouldn't ask me to do things I've already covered. But since that's in the news today, covered it days ago. Today has 43 date numerology. He's being released for supposed murder. Football 43, Panthers 43, Masonic 43, Killing 43. He's 44 years old. Kill 44. Execution 44. He was born in 74. Killing 74. Look at his name, Ray Caruth 113, the number of mainstream deception. 157, the 37th prime. Carolinas 37. Prisons 37. Ray Caruth 67. Killer 67. In light of this guy being an actor from the NFL, I'm not even sure that he's ever been in prison, you know? I'm not sure that he's done any time. This guy's an NFL actor. All of these stories are rituals and scripts and tributes for other things going on. They had to emphasize that he's 44 years old in the news by the numbers. I'm sure this has everything to do with the riddles going on in this NFL football season, and I'll need to think about that. Yesterday, we just had the big Black Panther ritual, the 666 team winning in Philadelphia, the land of revelation, and then the next day, this guy's released. There's some symbolism here interconnected. Yesterday, the Black Panthers won. Black Panther equals 69, 69 date numerology. If you missed my work on the Black Panther, look, if you guys don't know why the Black Panther film released on February 16th, you need to get caught up on that. February 16th is the 47th day of the year, right? Beast 47. February 16th is 2/16, 216. Like 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Look at Black Panther in Gematria. Again, anytime there's an ordinal or a reverse ordinal Gematria of 111, then you know it has a Sumerian Gematria of 666. You see? If I'm not mistaken, Cam Newton started this season getting his 66th win when he picked that up. Number of the beast, 66. Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, where Philadelphia gets its name. So anyway, the Black Panther movie was released by the numbers, number of the beast, symbolism. It's been used again and again in this NFL season. Yesterday was a carrying out of that. Here we are in October, the only month with the 666 Gematria. You got to use the reverse Sumerian Gematria, then October 666. But I'm sure Ray Caruth fits into this little ritual here with his October release too. Let's here, I haven't looked at his full birth name, Ray Lamar Wiggins. Let's check that out. Wiggins. Lamar, Ray Wiggins. Got some Freemasonry numbers there in a big way. Ray Lamar Wiggins. Wasn't Ray Caruth 157 too? Look at that. Ray Caruth's 157. His full name's 157. Again, that's the 37th prime. He played for Carolina, 37. Before he went to prison, 37. So, yeah, I just think this Ray Caruth story is probably another scripted ritual. All their little narratives. We'll see what other details roll out from this story by the numbers after. I'm sure they don't end today. Gotta love that they posted that headline at 322 about him being released. Trying to find out where. Oh, I just forgot that the camera was on me. I've been typing things on the screen thinking you guys see it, but let me switch it back to the screen. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing here. Hold on. Let's come back to the screen. Ray Caruth was born. I'll bring it back up here. What in the world? How many different names has this guy got? Okay, so when I did the post, he was born Ray Lamar Wiggins, right? And notice Ray Caruth's 157. Ray, I'm going to play it backwards. Ray Lamar Wiggins, 157, which again is the 37th prime number. The story is he went to prison 37 after playing for Carolina 37. So I'm just, I'm doubting the details. It's a world of photo ops and propaganda and distractions and shaming a black man, which is also what that story factors into. Hey, Patrick, thanks for following. Glad you found it, Peso Dough. Better late than never. In case you don't know, this is about channel number 20. I've been deleted that many times. Used to have a lot bigger channel. They're trying to keep my numbers down so the videos don't get out there. What's your finals prediction? Sign up for my Patreon. You think I'm just going to shout that stuff out? Sorry, I'm trying to earn some revenue here. I got to build up some funds so that I can take this to the next level. I've been doing this for 5 years for free. You should know how to do it already. How many times I got to teach you guys? Sure. Mary's talking about how she was reading personal care products and she saw things like butane were in it. Look at how many crazy ingredients are in the things that we're supposed to wash and preserve our body with. It's not hard to see that this stuff's really toxic for us. You know, might cost you less at the store for some of this stuff, but it's also going to take years off your life. Well, I can't drive around and make videos right now because the camera on my phone doesn't work. It just gives me nothing but a black picture. I suppose if I recorded a video, it would still pick up the sound, but you'd just be staring at a black screen. No, I'm not blocking people that call me out. I'm blocking people that lie and distort the truth. So there's a lot of trolls always hanging around my work. JFK Jr., the whole JFK family might be alive. They've all died by the same numbers. I haven't heard any calls back. Nobody's ever called me back for any voicemails I left. I did say that I would call the NFL if Drew Brees got the win in the Edgar Allan Poe death ritual, which he got yesterday. We were pretty sure that was going to happen, and it sure did. You know, Montegraph put out his full name yesterday, huh? I'll have to look up that. I wouldn't trust anything he says, but yeah, Batman equals 666. If you guys haven't read my book, I talk about the rituals with Donald Trump and Batman and 666. You guys got to read that book. You're missing out on all sorts of things. Yeah, the whole Michael Bennett story was by the. You guys, you shouldn't be asking me anymore. Was this by the numbers? Was this by the numbers? Again, we're talking about the IQ scale. What am I telling you? Every single news story is by the numbers. The intelligent person would go, oh, okay, you've been teaching this code for a long time. Let me go apply it myself and prove it to myself. Not ask me what I'm. There's just obviously going to be one response that comes from me. There's not a single thing in the news that's not reported by the numbers. Not one. Okay. I don't know why people continue to ask those kind of questions. Was this story by the numbers? What do you think? God. Yeah, these politicians aren't going to call back. They're scared. They don't want to deal with the people. Did you guys see my call to the congresswoman in my neighborhood last year? And the assistant's like, I can't tell you where she is. I can't tell you what she's doing. I was like, but isn't she my local representative? I want to speak to her. They're like, sorry, I can't give you that information. I was like, I don't feel like this person represents me. I can't even know what they're up to or where they are. I can't even know what state they're in. Bill G's up here in the Pacific Northwest in Canada talking about how they've been telling us the big one's coming. They've been telling us the big one's coming since I was a little kid. I remember in kindergarten practicing the earthquake drills for the big one coming to the Pacific Northwest. So they like to keep us in perpetual fear, but I'm sure when it comes, it'll be by the numbers. I just had to ban somebody else. They didn't even say anything that bad, but I don't like annoying people. People who like distort and totally misrepresent what I say. See you later. I'm real fair with trolls. I'll even give trolls like 5 opportunities, but when they keep trolling, then it's like, okay, that's enough. I already gave you enough attention. Yeah, these trolls. I mean, if you could just see all the trolls, they'd all look like one thing: white males, fat and sloppy. Nothing going for them in life. I guarantee you, every single last one would be the same: sloppy, fat, white male, because nobody else would do it. Nobody else would do it. I'm seeing if anybody else got any news stories here. If not, I might have to follow through with that call to the NFL headquarters. Robert Roberts needs to call me back. All right, here, before I make this phone call to the actually, you know what? Before I make the phone call, I'm going to wait until we have a book sale. Not a single book is sold. Or wait, I think one sale at the beginning. We need one more book sale before I make this phone call to the NFL headquarters. But gotta remember this story too. Things I gotta remember. Before we go to calling the NFL, I just want you to understand what I'm calling them about, so you're not in the dark as I'm doing my thing here with it. Let's see. Where's the Where's the week 7 discussion thread? All right, we need to go down to the Saints game here. So what we saw with the Saints game was this whole thing with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the quarterback of the Saints. There's 32 teams in the NFL. He'd beaten every team in NFL history except for the Ravens. He had never beat the Ravens before. Didn't I do a better post about this? Hold on, I got a better post about this to show you with more clear visuals. Let me figure out where it's at here. Where is it at? I think this was it. Okay, so this is the more clear post about what happened. We predicted all this, and then it came through true to form. Drew Brees is 39 years old right now, right? Drew Brees is 39. The Raven equals 39, which is what the Baltimore Ravens are named after. We pointed out that Drew Brees could pick up his 69th career road win in Baltimore, where Edgar Allan Poe died, who wrote The Raven, on a date with 69 numerology. So Drew Brees did get his 69th career road win. The date numerology was 69. Edgar Allan Poe equals 69. And the creepiest thing about this is Drew Brees, by beating the Ravens, he was 0-4 against them. Now he's 1-4, right? He's 1-4, like 14. And this was exactly 14 days after the anniversary of the death of Edgar Allan Poe. The game was October 21st. Poe died October 7th. 14 days later, Drew Brees gets this tribute to Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven, and it just goes to show every single game of his NFL career was scripted. And this is why I just get sick of listening to retards criticize my work. It's like, look, I'm not going to nail every prediction. I'll get the vast majority of my predictions correct. But then these haters, they always hang on to the one thing I get wrong, and then they just throw all this stuff out there like, well, who cares about this? Like, I was going to read your book, but you got one prediction wrong, so I guess it's not that interesting. It's like, really? Well, you must be fucking retarded, period. Which most people are. And again, I used to use those two words all the time, F and R, because they are the two words that describe the average intelligence of the average American and pretty much the average person in the world at this day and age. So anyway, let's call the NFL about their sick Edgar Allan Poe thing. If you haven't read my book, I talk about the murder of Edgar Allan Poe by the numbers. He died on a date with 84 numerology, big Jesuit numbers. Maryland used to be part of the Catholic colony. He also died on 10/7, like 107. Ritual sacrifice, 107. Poe supposedly was poisoned. Many people suspect that he was poisoned. He was probably given arsenic. There's a whole lot more to his death, but in light of him dying on an 84 numerology date, Justin Tucker, who was blamed for the loss. Notice Tucker's 39, Justin 39, the Raven 93 and 39. Justin Tucker misses his first PAT on his 223rd attempt, Masonic 223, Masonic also 43, like football, like Ravens. There's our book sale, and right at 303, which is a big Jesuit number, at least out here on the West Coast. That's funny. But the final score had 47 points, other big Masonic numbers. But again, in our base ciphers, the name Tucker has Gematria of 84, like how Edgar Allan Poe died on a date with 84 numerology. Also 78, Jesuits 78 and 84. Notice Tucker's 24 also in the base cipher. That's why you want to know all four base ciphers. Because when he missed, there was 24 seconds on the clock. The score was 24-23. It would have been 24-24 if he made it. And like I've been educating about and proven for years, they script everything about these games, from the final scores to the box scores to even the amount of time on the clocks. They'll let a clock run a little long. They'll stop it a little bit early. They'll add time to the clock. They'll make it all perfect for their numerical scripted rituals. All of these games are rigged sports theater. So that said, let's call the NFL headquarters. Oh, 2 sales. You guys are trying to make me do 2 phone calls. What other game can I call about this weekend? NFL headquarters phone number. Hold on. What is it? I know we want a 212 area code. There it is. Thanks to the 2 people who went out and got the book. Means a lot. I should have charged up my phone before I did this. Let's get out the volume here. Let's turn up the volume. All right, here we go.
Thank you for calling National Football League. How may I help you?
Yes, can you please connect me to the script writer for the NFL? Oh, wow. Did you see that? They hung up on me today. I will call back. I'll ask for Robert Roberts. Maybe the NFL got instructions on if anybody else calls for the Hollywood scriptwriter to just hang up. Let's try one more time. Who wants to bet my... Hold on.
Thank you for calling National Football League. How may I help you?
Yes, can I be connected to Robert Roberts?
Hold on one moment. That name is not in my directory, sir.
Who replaced Robert Roberts? He worked there a year ago.
I'm not sure. I would need a contact name.
Who's in charge of Monday Night Football? Can we call them?
So do you have a comment you want to leave?
I need to talk to who's in charge of the scripting. You know, like last week. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Sorry, Taylor Rogers is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, Taylor. I was hoping to talk to Robert Roberts, but apparently he doesn't work there anymore. I left him a number of messages a few years back, and he never called me back, so maybe you have it in you to return this call. But, you know, every single week I see the NFL and their commentators saying these things like they couldn't have scripted it any better. And I thought there was something to that many years ago, so I started to look into it. And I realized that the games truly were scripted by a code. And now I often predict what's going to happen in the games before it happens. Like I was pretty certain that Drew Brees would win this week, finishing out, you know, beating every team in the NFL. And the reason we knew this was because the last team to beat was the Ravens, named after the Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. And the thing is, in the language of Gematria, which is important to Masonry, which is responsible for American football and media, as I'm sure you know, you're probably a Mason yourself. In this language of Gematria, the Raven equals 39. Drew Brees is 39 years old. And what's extra creepy is it was John Harbaugh's 167th game, the coach of the Ravens. That's the 39th prime number. And ended up being Tucker, who missed the extra point on a ball that sliced with some remarkable spin. Tucker equals 39. But the real creepy part was this, that I pointed out even before the game was played. It was a date with 69 numerology. Drew Brees was going to pick up his 69th road win. And the name Edgar Allan Poe in Gematria equals 69. Not only that, but the death of Edgar Allan Poe was on October 7th, 14 days before the game. And by Drew Brees winning, he became 1-4 against the Ravens. Isn't that a lot like 14? You know, the Ravens fell to 4-3, which is like 43, the 14th prime number. Football equals 43, Masonic 43, killing 43, Ravens 43. What are the odds of all these coincidences? So I would really like a call back. I would like to know what's with this type of scripting, why you guys do it by the same repetitive numbers. I think a lot of fans would like for you guys to come clean, and I want you to think about this on coming clean on the rigging. Think about the people who used to be fooled by the WWE. They thought it was all legit. Then the WWE, they came clean, and guess what? Their following grew. Their ratings grew. Could the same thing happen with the NFL if you came out and let people know that it was all truly just a script and entertainment? You never know. Sometimes honesty pays dividends. I'd love for you to call me back. We got so many more scripts to talk about. Also, real cute there that it was Justin Tucker's 223rd PAT attempt all time and the symbolic loss. Cap off Drew Brees' big year. As we know, Drew Brees equals 99. So does record. It's the 99th NFL season. Drew Brees on September 23rd, the day leaving 99 days left in the year. What happened? Got his first record of the season, the completions record. Then another record by the numbers on Christopher Columbus Day in the native genocide symbolism game. And now another record in the Edgar Allan Poe ritual. So, also, if you're still in contact with Robert Roberts, could you have him give me a call? I really would like to talk to Robert. I've left him so many messages. I feel like we sort of know each other, but still haven't heard his voice. So, if you could pass it along, I'd appreciate a phone call from both of you. Keep the scripts coming. We're learning more every week. All right. Until next time. Well, that phone call wasn't as good as the last one. I just, I don't know. We didn't get off to the right start. The lady hung up on me, and then I was really honestly disappointed to hear that Robert Roberts doesn't work there anymore. I miss getting connected to the voicemail of Robert Roberts, but guess now it's Taylor. So it's undeniable what they do in the NFL. Life lesson number, how do you calculate it? You calculate the month plus the day whole, and then you take the year digit by digit. So, for example, my birthday is July 21st, 1983. So you add 7 plus 21, day plus month, and then you add the year in pieces, 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 3. So that's 7 plus 21 is 28, plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 3 is 21 more, so that's 49. They call that one the life lesson number. Gematria is definitely Jewish. Masonry is based in Judaism. Gematria is 100% Jewish. It's mostly an exclusively Jewish practice. The only reason it's in Masonry is because Masonry gets all of its stuff from Judaism. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. Masonry is based in Jewish Kabbalah. Yeah, the Cowboys kick definitely looked funny. The Cowboys kick definitely looked funny. All right, you guys. Appreciate everyone who picked up the book. I'll do some more calls. I'll do some better ones. That call wasn't so great. That lady. I need the other lady to pick up that just connects me right away. So, wouldn't it be something we found out that lady got fired and that was the new lady who replaced her? That lady was just too honest, the prior one. All right, you guys. Going to look into a few more of these stories. Got to do a few more blog posts. The man who supposedly was shot to death in Georgia that shot the Georgia cop, Donald Trump pulling out of this deal. Any other news stories I should check out before I go? Call back the fire chief. They're not gonna pick up or call back. We've already called them, what, 2-3 times? New York Democrat arrested for forgery, right before the election. Chris Collins, that was August 11th. Hold on. 2 hours ago. Paid campaign worker. So the campaign worker, so not a congressman. So it just goes to show how fast information gets distorted from campaign worker to congressman. But yeah, just some pre-election stuff, some divisive stuff. Obama in Vegas today. Lionel Media. Well, yeah, that guy used to be on Air America Radio. He's another one of those. He's just like Donald Trump. Speaking of the guy who was in Donald Trump's office, he used to do liberal radio and then he switched to conservative, just like how Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat who became a Republican during the time of Obama. I mean, people don't see through that. Yeah, the NFL players are all in on it. That's why they all get paid so much. They're almost all born and bred to be. So for all of you who just got here, I'm going to shut this down. The whole thing will upload. You can start over from the beginning. There's a lot you missed. We're just at the part of the thing where we're just talking in the chat room. So we'll leave it there, True Seeker. Until next time.